international community that has been standing firmly with it in the fight against terrorism scored a major breakthrough today when the UN listed Masood Azhar, the mastermind of the Pulwama, Pathankot, Parliament and J&K Assembly terror attacks, as a global terrorist under the UNSC 1267 Sanctions Committee list after China lifted its technical hold. This was the fourth bid to get him listed after similar proposals were moved in 2009, 2016 and 2017. Our in focus tonight is Masood Azhar designated as a global terrorist by UNSC, a big diplomatic win for India. That and more in today's edition of Newsnight. I'm Unman Bhattacharya. First up, the headlines. India scores a big diplomatic victory. JEM chief Masood Azhar designated as a global terrorist at the UN after China lifts its technical hold on the proposal at 1267 Al-Qaeda Sanctions Committee of UNSC. Proposal was moved by US, UK and France after the Pulwama terror attack in February. Prime Minister hails the move as a big success for India in the fight against terrorism. France too welcomes the move. Naxals strike again, 16 martyred, including 15 Jawans of Quick Reaction Team of Maharashtra Police and their driver in an IED blast triggered by Naxals in Gadchiroli in Maharashtra. Condemnation pours in from the President, Prime Minister among other top leaders. PM assures the perpetrators of the violence will not be spared. Prime Minister Narendra Modi campaigns in Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, lashes out at political opponents, accuses the Congress of harbouring dreams to harm him. PM takes aim at SP and BSP too. In West Bengal, BJP President Amit Shah ups the ante on Mamata Banerjee government in his rallies. Congress's campaign picks up steam too. Rahul Gandhi holds rallies at several places in UP, canvasses for votes on Nyay scheme, promises employment to youth. Congress delegation raises poll-related complaints with the Election Commission. In a joint rally in UP, Mayawati and Akhilesh take on the Congress and BJP. Election Commission rejects nomination of SP candidate from Varanasi, Tej Bahadur Yadav. National Conference leader Umar Abdullah campaigns in Pulwama. Odisha, West Bengal and Andhra Pradesh brace for cyclone Foni's landfall on Friday afternoon. National Crisis Management Committee reviews preparedness for Foni for the third consecutive day in a row. 17 coastal districts of Odisha on high alert. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange jailed for 50 weeks by British court for jumping bail when he took refuge in Ecuador's embassy in London 7 years ago. GST collection scales all-time high of 1.13 lakh crore rupees in April. The collection last month is the highest since the introduction of GST and reflects over 10% growth over April 2018. At our focus this afternoon, a tweet by India's permanent representative to the United Nations, Syed Akbaruddin, this evening broke the news of Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Masood Azhar being listed as a global terrorist by the world body, with China lifting its technical hold on a proposal to blacklist him under the UN Security Council's Sanctions Committee. The development means that a bid that began 10 years ago at the UN has finally succeeded in the fourth attempt. Prime Minister Narendra Modi hailed the move at a Rajasthan rally as a big success for India in the fight against terrorism. France too welcomed the move. Here's how it all happened and the implications of Azhar being listed as a global terrorist by the UN.
Masood Azhar designated a global terrorist, a major diplomatic victory for India as China offers support on the Masood Azhar issue. China withdrew the technical hold it put in March on a resolution seeking Azhar's designation as a global terrorist. France, the UK and the US had moved the resolution in the United Nations Security Council's 1267 Al-Qaeda Sanctions Committee days after the Pulwama terror attack.
मसूद अजहर को संयुक्त राष्ट्र द्वारा आतंकवादी घोषित करने पर आखिरकार विश्व में सहमति बनी, यह संतोष का विषय है। देर आए दुरुस्त आए। आतंकवाद के खिलाफ संघर्ष में और आतंकवाद को जड़ से उखाड़ने के लिए लंबे समय से भारत जो प्रयास कर रहा था, ये उसकी बहुत बड़ी सफलता है।
Sharing the news in a tweet, India's representative at the UN, Syed Akbaruddin, said, "Big, small, all joined together. Masood Azhar designated as a terrorist in UN sanctions list. Grateful to all for their support."
I can confirm to you, just a short while ago, the chairperson of the UN Sanctions Committee, the permanent representative of Indonesia, has informed us that Masood Azhar stands designated as an individual who has been promoting terrorism globally. This is for us a significant outcome because we have been at it for several years.
In its listing, UNSC has found Masood Azhar as being associated with Al-Qaeda by participating in financing, planning and facilitating its terror activities as well as recruiting for it. It has been established that Azhar's terror outfit, Jaish-e-Mohammed, also has associations with Al-Qaeda. UNSC has already listed Jaish-e-Mohammed as a terrorist organization in October 2001.
कि वो राष्ट्र, वो देश जो पहले शायद भारत के दृष्टिकोण से या तो पूरी तरह सहमत नहीं थे या सहमत होकर के भी उन्हें स्वीकार करने में कुछ झिझक थी, भारत की आतंक के प्रति और पाकिस्तान के प्रति दृष्टिकोण को, आज वो भी इस स्थिति में है कि वो भारत के दृष्टिकोण को स्वीकार कर रहे हैं। पाकिस्तान पर इस प्रकार का दबाव है और साथ ही साथ अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर संयुक्त राष्ट्र की ओर से इस प्रकार की घोषणा करना और इस प्रकार का लिखित में निर्णय लेना, मुझे लगता है कि भारत के लिए स्वतंत्रता के बाद एक बहुत बड़ा एक सफलता का कार्य हुआ है।
मसूद अजहर को आतंकी घोषित करना, मैं आपको एक बात बताता हूं, 2014 से पहले जब अंतर्राष्ट्रीय चौपाल लगता था तो उसके अंदर भारत को बैठने नहीं दिया जाता था। भारत बाहर खड़ा होता था और जो निर्णय होता था चौपाल के अंदर वो भारत को बतलाया जाता था। लेकिन 2019 के अंदर जब अंतर्राष्ट्रीय चौपाल लगता है तो भारत के बगैर उस चौपाल में चर्चा नहीं हो सकती। ये ताकत है भारत की आज।
Beijing said on Tuesday that the vexed issue of designating Azhar as a global terrorist by the UN will be properly resolved. China had put a hold in March on a fresh proposal by the United States, United Kingdom and France to impose a ban on the chief of the Jaish-e-Mohammed, which claimed responsibility for the deadly Pulwama terror attack. The proposal was fourth such bid at the UN in the past 10 years to list Azhar as a global terrorist. In 2009, India had moved a proposal by itself to designate Azhar. In 2016, again, India moved the proposal along with the P3, the US, the UK and France in the UN's 1267 Sanctions Committee to ban Azhar, also the mastermind of the attack on the Air Force base in Pathankot in January 2016. In 2017, the P3 nations moved a similar proposal again. However, on all occasions, China, a veto-wielding permanent member of the Security Council, blocked India's proposal from being adopted by the Sanctions Committee. A UNSC designation will subject Azhar to an assets freeze, travel ban and an arms embargo. An assets freeze under the Sanctions Committee requires that all states freeze without delay the funds and other financial assets or economic resources of the designated individuals and entities. The travel ban entails preventing the entry into or transit by all states through their territories by designated individuals. News Night Desk, DD India.
And that brings us to our InFocus tonight, which is Masood Azhar, a designated global terrorist by UNSC. Big diplomatic win for India. To talk about that, we have with us Dilip Sinha, former diplomat, and Alok Bansal, security analyst. I welcome you both to News Night. I'll begin with you, Ambassador Sinha. Could this have happened without sustained international pressure built by India and the nations that are on the same page as India is in the fight against terrorism?
No, this is a great success for our diplomacy and for our efforts to ensure that we get Masood Azhar on the banned list. This has been going on for several years now. We first succeeded in getting the P3, which is Britain, France and the United States on board, and then this sustained pressure by these countries on China, as well as the bilateral pressure that India put on China. These are the factors that have led to China eventually persuading Pakistan or telling Pakistan that it must accept that there will be this ban on Masood Azhar. There is also the pressure that India built, not directly but indirectly through the Western countries, through the Financial Action Task Force on Pakistan, because Pakistan realizes that to get out of the grey list which it is on the FATF, it has to show some action, even if it's cosmetic action, against the terror groups in Pakistan. And since Masood Azhar has been put right on the top of the agenda, Pakistan had to take some action against him. And this is the agreement that seems to have come about between China and Pakistan, that they allow Masood Azhar to be put on the terror list, so that both the pressure on China and the pressure on Pakistan through the FATF can be eased somewhat.
What do you think, Alok Bansal, has led to this turnaround in China's position? Because it was often said that China wanted to defend its own personnel and interests in Pakistan, especially with regard to the CPEC corridor that it is building there, and also it wanted to take the help of JEM chief Maulana Masood Azhar insofar as tackling its own problems in Xinjiang province with regard to Uyghurs is concerned. So what has led to a turnaround now?
See, I have never believed this statement that they wanted to use Masood Azhar to sort out Xinjiang. It was not feasible for Masood Azhar to actually solve things in Xinjiang, because ideologically that would have actually contradicted with his ideology. The fact is, China was always aware that this sort of a menace of radicalization that is seeping in Pakistan through outfits like Jaish-e-Mohammed.
You don't think there was a give and take relationship?
No, there was no give and take relationship. China wanted to defend Pakistan for other reasons. That is CPAC, which was a very critical requirement of China, because it's the most important component of Belt and Road Initiative, which President Xi Jinping identifies as his own personal initiative. And at a time when Xi Jinping is trying to consolidate power, in fact revert back to Maoist era supremacy of single leader, it is essential that he should not be seen to be failing. So BRI, he has a lot of stake, and that's why they were trying to defend Pakistan. But they also realized that this sort of a outfit cannot be defended, because Masood Azhar was an open and shut case. He was a terrorist who was lodged in Indian prison and was released from Indian prison by hijacking a plane in which lives were lost in full media glare. So in his case, to defend a terrorist like this, it was very difficult for China also. And I think there was immense moral pressure, and the fact that India managed to get 14 out of 15 members of the committee to support it, I think put enormous pressure on China, because the largest Muslim state in the world, Indonesia, was supporting it, was heading it. So I think at some stage China had to yield, and this is what has happened. And for China, India is far more important. Please understand, India is a very, very big market for Chinese goods, and there is only a limit up to which China could have withstood, because probably Chinese initially did not visualize the reaction in India. I think after March issue, there was a huge reaction within India. People wanted to boycott Chinese goods, etc. And at a time when China is having its own trade war with US, and for the first time in decade, Chinese foreign exchange reserves dropped quarter on quarter. So it was an essential thing that they would not have wanted to get into a situation where Chinese exports to India, China's trade, China's relations with India actually come under pressure. So I think to my mind, for some time I was seeing that China would fall in line, because India in last few years has built up a huge diplomatic capital. In fact, our diplomatic offensive has been so successful that I think it was a given. The only thing was timing, was when it would come about, because just last for few days, if you see Pakistani media as well as Indian media, these reports have been coming that China has virtually in principle agreed that it will drop.
In fact, the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson had said yesterday that they want this issue to be resolved positively, that they said is the consensus now at the UNSC. But Ambassador Sinha, the question is also, some people are saying that perhaps China could not have seen itself side colliding with terrorists in the aftermath of the Christchurch bombings, as well as the bombings that we've seen recently in Sri Lanka. So could it have thought that it can only endanger its reputation further if it continues to stick to its stand of coming to the rescue of Maulana Masood Azhar time and again?
Absolutely. The kind of pressure that India had built up both internationally and through public opinion within India itself made China realize that there was no way out. They had to show some action to be taken, which is why they took some time to persuade Pakistan. Also to explain to Pakistan that it was also in Pakistan's own interest to show some kind of action. That doesn't mean that Pakistan will take action against Masood Azhar in a significant way. That's a different story altogether. But at least in terms of the international image of China, and in terms of the arguments that Pakistan can make to the Financial Action Task Force, this is an action that can be shown as a positive action by both these countries, China and Pakistan. Now, what action they actually take against Masood Azhar and against Jaish-e-Mohammed, that's another story.
Since you are referring to what action Pakistan should be taken and all the UNSC members are taking, we know that after this decision of the UNSC, there has to be a travel ban on the assets of Maulana Masood Azhar, that is the financial assets, as well as an arms embargo on him. So Alok Bansal, we've seen many times Pakistan using various tactics. Before shutting a bank account, it would transfer the money out into another bank account, and that's how it's been going around these bans of the UN. We've seen that happen several times in the past as well. So what expectations can one have from this development?
See, we have to wait and watch, because in Pakistan, outfits metamorph into a new outfit. It happens overnight. We have seen it with numerous outfits. Even Jaish-e-Mohammed, for that matter, has been banned for some time, but it has been functioning. Masood Azhar, these restrictions really does not make much of a difference, except for a huge psychological victory for India and disillusionment in Pakistan. Because for all you know, Pakistanis may lodge him in a guest house and declare it as a jail or something and intern him as it, and probably he may survive the way Hafiz Saeed has survived. But yes, internationally it puts enormous pressure on him. He cannot travel abroad, he cannot seek funds, especially from international agencies or international charities, and to that extent there have been certain restrictions on him, and he would be under media glare for some time now. And coupled with the fact that Pakistan's FATF status, FATF is reviewing Pakistan status from grey status, there is likelihood that it might go into black. The international community at this stage is in a position to exert enormous pressure on Pakistan, because it's also seeking IMF funds at this point of time, and its financial position is quite critical, especially the foreign exchange reserves have depleted despite taking a lot of loans from other friendly countries.
Do you agree with that, Ambassador Sinha, that the international community, including India, needs to continue to mount pressure on the Financial Action Task Force to blacklist Pakistan now that it's been grey listed, and also keep telling the International Monetary Fund that it is putting its own funds at a huge risk if it tries to bail out Pakistan once again?
Yes, we have to continue that pressure, because we have to, just as we have continued pressure upon these various countries to get Hafiz Saeed listed, we must tell them that it is these actions that will eventually persuade Pakistan to take some kind of action against terror groups, or at least to mend its ways to a certain extent. Because if the IMF bails out Pakistan, then they go back to their bad old ways once again. Now, in this particular case, it is a fact that it is because of the FATF grey listing that the IMF has had to go slow on approving the Pakistani request for a standby facility to bail out Pakistan, and also the fear that Pakistan will of course use the IMF money to pay back China. So the pressure is on both countries to show action against Masood Azhar. And
right.
Sorry.
Yeah. So Alok Bansal, do you think that Pakistan's stock has gone down, not just with all the UNSC countries, but China particularly?
See, Pakistan's stock has been going down consistently for a long time, and as far as China is concerned, yes, I think China also visualizes the threat that emanates from Pakistan based radical outfits, but most importantly, Pakistani government stock will go down with its own populace, because it's been trying to sell this thing to its populace that China is an all-weather friend and China will bail them out in case of any crisis. Now, this sort of a decision by China will make it very, very difficult for the regime of Imran Khan to tell its population as to how it has happened. And because, as you know, Imran Khan's regime is under pressure from different fronts. Economically, it has been a disaster and it's facing a lot of flake. So I think coupled with this, it will create a lot of problem domestically for Imran Khan and his regime.
Ambassador Sinha, do you see any distinction in the approach of the UPA government and the NDA government on this matter? Because this issue was first raised in 2009, that was post the 26/11 attacks, though the JM hand is not suspected in those attacks, yet we know that in several attacks from the JNK Assembly to Parliament to Pathankot to Pulwama, JM's hand has been suspected, and we've been giving evidence continuously to Pakistan, which Pakistan has been denying at every stage. But do you see any distinction in that approach? In 2009, India approached the UNSC directly, and after that it's happened in 2016, 2017 and 2019, but this time the proposals were not moved by India, but they were moved by 3 permanent members of the UNSC, US, UK and France.
Well, in terms of policy and in terms of the efforts, there is a continuity in our foreign policy in this respect, but one has to be recognize that there is certainly a greater degree of re-energization of the foreign policy and a greater willingness to put pressure upon countries to get them to take action. And this is one of the reasons why the P3, which is the US, Britain and France, took upon themselves to take action. Now, of course, this has also been due to certain international developments. One, for example, was the FATF blacklisting, grey listing of Pakistan, and then Pakistan's own financial position, which deteriorated to a point where Pakistan had to go to the IMF to seek bailout, and this gave an opportunity to the international community to then come back and start putting pressure upon Pakistan.
Alok Bansal, there was a time, you would remember, when Pervez Musharraf was the president of Pakistan, that the cadre of Jaish-e-Mohammed was nearly depleted because of several assassination attempts that JEM had made against Musharraf. But since then it seems that the group got a lot of opportunity to regroup and to reassert itself, and as a result of that, Pathankot happened and the Pulwama terror attack happened, and we've seen contrary statements really coming in from Pakistan itself. The government says he is very much in Pakistan, the army says he's nowhere in Pakistan. Then a couple of days ago the ISPR DG said that there's no terrorist organization in Pakistan. So what are the challenges going forward for India as Pakistan continues to be in denial?
See, there is no doubt that Masood Azhar has had a love-hate relationship with Pakistani government. Jaish-e-Mohammed was banned at one stage, but subsequently ISI found that Jaish-e-Mohammed was a valuable asset, especially as far as its usage against India is concerned, and it's been nurturing it. The fact is, after Balakot, we saw that Bahawalpur complex of Jaish-e-Mohammed was being guarded by security forces. They were not allowing media to go and meet him, and that's been going on. So one of the reasons for that is, I think they want to have that sort of deniability of his presence or his activities, and that is a problem, because in Pakistan, as you know, power does not lie solely with the elected representative. In fact, the real power lies with general headquarters in Rawalpindi. So you would see certain amount of tussle between Rawalpindi and Islamabad as the pressure mounts on Pakistan. And we'll have to see how Pakistan reacts, because, as I said, we have to maintain the pressure. This particular action of the UNSC is the first step.
That's what the Prime Minister just said in his Rajasthan rally as well, that this is just the beginning.
See, there is no doubt we have to exert pressure. We have to persist with FATF to declare Pakistan on the blacklist, and more importantly, we have to ensure that the Western countries, US, UK, France, etc., put enormous pressure on IMF, and the conditionalities that are put on Pakistan for IMF loan are tightened, because this sort of a thing will put Pakistan under immense pressure, and then it will may be feasible to Pakistan to take certain drastic actions vis-a-vis Masood Azhar. Eventually, we should actually ask for Masood Azhar to be handed over to us, because he was in jail, he was tried, he was punished.
Why just Masood Azhar? In fact, Hafiz Saeed, Zakir Rahman Lakwi, all the terror masterminds there.
Not only that, even Dawood Ibrahim is living in Karachi. We have adequate intelligence inputs on that. In fact, there have been Pakistani media houses which have published reports of Dawood Ibrahim being in Karachi. So I think there are a lot of terrorists who are living in Pakistan, and we must continue to exert pressure on Pakistan's government and Pakistan's security establishment to hand these terrorists to us, so that the due process of law can take its full course.
Ambassador Sinha, what should be India's approach going forward?
The same, as I said, we have to continue to put pressure upon Pakistan and to keep a pressure on the international community. We must remember that the international community, especially the Western countries, tend to look at only the West-oriented terrorism of Pakistan, which is the terrorism that's extending towards Afghanistan. They generally tend to ignore the terrorism that moves towards India. We have to keep informing the Western countries that terrorism from Pakistan moves in both directions and they are interlinked. So whether it is terrorism that comes into India or into Afghanistan or into other parts of the world, there is an intrinsic linkage, and no country is safe from Pakistani terrorism. Therefore, they have to keep pressure upon Pakistan to ensure that it takes action against these groups. It's not an easy task, but I think our government's re-energized foreign policy in this respect should be pursued to ensure that organizations like the IMF and the FATF take these factors into account before they bail out Pakistan.
Right. We'll take a breather at this point in time, because Union Home Minister Rajnath Singh is speaking on the development that took place at the UNSC. Let's listen in.
15 जवान शहीद हुए हैं आईडी ब्लास्ट में। इससे मुझे बेहद तकलीफ हुई है, और जो हमारे जवान शहीद हुए हैं उनको मैं अपनी श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करता हूं, और उनके परिवार के सदस्यों के प्रति मैं संवेदना व्यक्त करता हूं। और मैं मानता हूं कि आज हमारा देश यदि सुरक्षित है तो हमारे सुरक्षा का जवानों का ही एक बहुत सबसे बड़ा योगदान है। और मैं यह भी सभी से अपील करना चाहूँगा कि सुरक्षा के सवाल पर कभी राजनीति नहीं की जानी चाहिए, लेकिन कुछ लोगों के द्वारा ऐसे स्टेटमेंट्स दिए गए हैं जो कि बहुत ही दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण हैं। और मैं देशवासियों को जानकारी देना चाहता हूँ कि इस माओवादी उग्रवाद के मोर्चे पर हमारी सरकार को विगत 5 वर्षों में बहुत ही शानदार कामयाबी हासिल हुई है। यदि देखा जाए तो माओवादी उग्रवाद की घटनाओं में भी 50 से लेकर 60% की कमी आई है, और इसके पहले बराबर हमारे सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस के जवान अधिक शहीद होते थे, और जो माओवादी उग्रवादी हैं उनकी जो है किलिंग्स कम होती थी। लेकिन अब यह जस्ट रिवर्स हो गया है, और यदि हम देखें विगत 5 वर्षों में तो सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस के किलिंग्स में भी 60% से अधिक की गिरावट आई है। लेकिन मैं चाहता हूं कि सारा देश इस उग्रवाद का सवाल हो अथवा आतंकवाद का सवाल हो, एकजुट होकर साथ खड़े दिखना चाहिए।
That was the Union Home Minister Rajnath Singh reacting on the Naxal attack that took place in Gadchiroli, in which 15 security personnel who were members of the QRT, that is Quick Reaction Team of Maharashtra Police, were martyred, and also saying that there has been a significant decline in Naxal activities over the last few years. He said that over 50 to 60% is the kind of decline that has happened in Naxal related incidents, and there has been a decline of more than 60% in the casualties that are suffered by security forces. And earlier, in fact, he was speaking on the move that took place at the UNSC, where the blacklisting of Maulana Masood Azhar, the Jaish-e-Mohammed chief, happened this evening. We'll bring you that reaction as well, but for now we'll continue our discussion on the development at the UNSC. Well, Ambassador Sinha, do you agree with what Alok Bansal was saying earlier, that real justice will only happen when these terror masterminds like Masood Azhar, Hafiz Saeed, Dawood Ibrahim and others are brought to India? They are made to face trial here and finally punished.
Yes, in fact, that is one of the demands that India has put forward in this treaty, the Comprehensive Convention on International Terrorism. which India has been pursuing in the Security Council and in the UN for a comprehensive definition of terrorism. And one of the provisions in that is that terrorism should be an extraditable offence, and terrorists should be tried under special laws. Now, since Pakistan refuses to take any realistic or meaningful action against these terror groups, and since many of these people are wanted for terrorist actions in India, India has the right to get them extradited from Pakistan. Of course, that's easier said than done, but nevertheless, our pressure on Pakistan should continue, and the pressure on the international community should also be there, so that they also do not end up ignoring these acts of Pakistan and then trying to go back to business as usual with that country.
So do you think, Alok Bansal, that in a larger perspective, it is important to move forward on the CCIT that India had proposed sometime in 1996? So it's been nearly 20 years, or well over 20 years, since India asked for its adoption. It's been hanging fire over the definition of terrorism. Is it important to not just make incremental progress on that, but to ensure that it is adopted? Should the international community come together on this as well, after China dropped its resistance to Masood Azhar's blacklisting?
See, there is no doubt that India must pursue this, but please remember, the definition of terrorism is not a very easy obstacle to be resolved. It will require far more effort than designating Masood Azhar as a terrorist, because each country has its own interests, its own understanding, and that is one of the reasons why over 20 years it's been hanging fire, because people have not been able to come. But I think with the passage of time, as more and more countries are afflicted by the virus of terrorism, there is likely to be unanimity, and I think we must continue to pursue and keep up the diplomatic offensive to get this treaty passed by the UN and get more and more countries to agree with India's definition and India's recommendations as far as dealing with terrorism and terrorists are concerned.
Alok Bansal, do you also see a distinction between the approach of the UPA government and the NDA government in tackling terrorism? Has the NDA government been more aggressive in its follow-up on various attacks? For instance, the Balakot strike happened, then post Uri also the surgical strike happened, and now India has achieved what it was unable to in the last 10 years.
See, there is no doubt that at least in the recent past, the government has gone all out against terrorism, and it has followed a multi-pronged strategy. We dealt with terrorists in Balakot, thereby giving a signal that we will deal with terrorists wherever they are, even if they are outside India's territory. We tried to dry up their economic resources by going in for demonetization. We have been eliminating terrorists in Jammu and Kashmir locally, and we have taken up a big diplomatic offensive, and the success of which is here. One of the big differences which I could say, as I generally agree with Ambassador Dilip Sinha, that the government's changes do not change the thrust of the foreign policy, but the fact is that the current government has brought a new dynamism to the foreign policy. And one of the very important significant factors has been India-China relations, and we have to grant it to Prime Minister Modi that he started looking at relations with China de novo. Please understand, after Prime Minister Modi came to power, President Xi Jinping was one of the first leaders to come calling on India, and the public reception which was held for him in Ahmedabad was the first public reception for a Chinese leader after 6 decades. Now that gave a new dynamism to China, and we have seen that our relations with China have been on the upswing. There have been ups and downs, I will not say, but Prime Minister Modi has resorted to many unconventional diplomatic moves.
The Wuhan summit being one of them.
Wuhan summit being a very, very significant one. I don't think so we have ever had something as dramatic and drastic as Wuhan. So we have done it, and I think that has resulted in today relations between India and China have improved considerably. And I have always believed that today's China does not pose an ideological or existential threat to India. We have a border dispute which is difficult, intractable, it will take time to resolve, but there are no existential ideological conflict between India and China, and I think it should be possible to bring China around to our point of view on some of the important issues on which we have had differences.
One prickly issue is over after a long time. Well, Mr. Sinha, do you agree with what Alok Bansal is saying, that India has actually worked on multiple levels, not on a couple of levels, and the way it's cultivated its relationship with China, the visits that the top leadership from India paid to China and vice versa, and particularly the Wuhan summit, which was aimed at improving the trust level between the two countries, because there was a trust deficit which was always felt with a country like China. So do you agree that this is a diplomatic victory for India? It's not just worked with all the UNSC members consistently, but it's also cultivated its ties with China.
Well, quite certainly the pressure that India put on China on the Masood Azhar issue has had some effect on China, and China has slowly been able to work with Pakistan to ensure that India's demand in this respect is accepted. Now, this is of course a success of our relations and a policy towards China. Now, what arrangements have been worked out and what kind of demands China would have put forward, because China uses its veto power and its power of permanent membership of the Security Council to great effect in all international affairs.
But this time we did not see it using the veto. Even in March, it had put the issue on technical hold, perhaps because of the pressure that India and other countries was mounting on it, and today it has lifted that technical hold as well.
Yes, you see, in the committee, the decisions are taken unanimously. So even though China was the only country opposing it, it was able to put a technical hold on the decision. But what the US had threatened China was that if China continued to block it in the committee, then the US would bring the matter to the Security Council, where there'd be an open discussion, and then China would have had to use its veto to stop the resolution, and that would be embarrassing for China, because China also at least publicly stands against terrorism, and it takes pride in the fact that it has taken action against terrorism in various parts within China itself. So for China, it would have been a great embarrassment to see the matter come up in the Security Council, which is why I think, thanks to both the international pressure and the pressure emanating from India, and also the fact that China realized that Indo-China relations would be impacted by China not taking action on Masood Azhar, because this had become a highly emotive issue in public opinion in India. So it wasn't just government pressure, but also public opinion pressure. I think the talk that Mr. Alok Bansal mentioned about the public wanting to boycott Chinese goods, which would be an extremely embarrassing situation for China, because India is an important market for Chinese goods, and Chinese goods are available all over the place. So any public move or campaign against Chinese goods would hit China economically.
Alok Bansal, just one last response from you on whether India needs to work with the financiers of Pakistan like Saudi Arabia as well as a future strategy.
Undoubtedly. In fact, another very big achievement of Modi government as far as foreign policy is concerned is India's invitation at the OIC. In fact, India was invited to participate in OIC, and this is a huge achievement. Please remember, 5 decades back, India was invited and not allowed to participate. From that level to being invited as a guest to speak at the inaugural session.
Despite the protestations by Pakistan.
Despite the protestation. And I think please understand, the bulk of the funds that have been lodged with Pakistan to bail out at this stage is from Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and UAE. Of course, China has also given them some funds, but at a higher rate than the prevailing interest rates. So Pakistan, the moment IMF actually pulls the rug from under it, Pakistan will be in serious fiscal problem. So I think if we have to put pressure on Pakistan, we need to start working with Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and UAE. Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has actually given them $3 billion and $3 billion of deferred oil payment facility, and they are also getting some money, about $2 billion from UAE. So all these funds, if they start actually do not extend any of these things and start once Pakistan starts paying back, Pakistan will be in deep grief if IMF doesn't come to its rescue.
Absolutely. Well, on that note, we'll thank you, Alok Bansal and Ambassador Dilip Sinha, for having joined us on News Night tonight. So clearly, there is a lot more that India and the international community needs to do in order to mount pressure on Pakistan and to bring terrorist masterminds to justice. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi has indicated just that in a rally in Rajasthan in the evening. The Prime Minister said that this is just the beginning. Well, let's move on now. 15 personnel of the quick response team of Maharashtra police and a driver were killed in an improvised explosive device blast in North Gadchiroli in Maharashtra at around 12:30 p.m. today when the patrolling body was travelling from Kurkheda-Korchi road in North Gadchiroli. The incident came close on the heels of 27 vehicles belonging to contractors involved in construction of a national highway were torched by Naxals. Last year, the security forces gunned down nearly 40 Naxals in the area after the reports of them gaining strength became prominent.
Gadchiroli area in Maharashtra. A team of the Maharashtra police was headed to Baroda police station at around 12:30 in the afternoon. Right then, in a pre-planned attack, Naxals detonated an IED. 16 people, including 15 police personnel, were martyred in the cowardly attack. The casualties included the driver. The police team was targeted when it was headed towards the Naxal-affected Baroda station. After the attack, an encounter broke out between the police and the Naxals. The entire area was cordoned off. Maharashtra police refuses to call this premeditated attack as a case of intelligence failure.
A quick reaction team of the Gadchiroli police based out of Kurkheda was on its way to police station Purada. On the way they were ambushed and 15 of our colleagues have made the supreme sacrifice, and one private individual who was the driver of a vehicle who also lost his life in the sad incident. It was a dastardly act committed by the Naxalites, and presently operations are going on in the area.
According to Maharashtra police, the attack may have been motivated by the growing desperation among the Naxals and the increasing police action in the region. Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis has expressed grief over the incident.
आज की घटना से भले ही हमें दुख हुआ हो, लेकिन हमारी पुलिस का मनोबल इससे कतई कम नहीं होगा। लोकतंत्र को स्थापित करने के लिए और इस प्रकार की ताकतों को समाप्त करने के लिए हमारी पुलिस इस और ज्यादा ताकत के साथ और बड़े मनोबल के साथ मैदान में उतरेगी।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi in a tweet said, strongly condemned the despicable attack on our security personnel in Gadchiroli, Maharashtra. I salute all the brave personnel. Their sacrifices will never be forgotten. My thoughts and solidarity are with the bereaved families. The perpetrators of such violence will not be spared. Home Minister Rajnath Singh has also condemned the terror attack. In a tweet, he said, attack on Maharashtra police personnel in Gadchiroli is an act of cowardice and desperation. We are extremely proud of the valor of our police personnel. Their supreme sacrifice while serving the nation will not go in vain. My deepest condolences to their families. After the incident, Home Minister spoke with the Chief Minister of Maharashtra and assured him of all the support from the centre. Meanwhile, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley in his message said, Naxal attack on security personnel in Gadchiroli, Maharashtra is a highly condemnable cowardice act. My thoughts are with the families of brave personnel who sacrificed their lives for the nation. Perpetrators of this heinous act will not go unpunished. Earlier, Naxals had attacked a CRPF patrolling team a day before the first phase of polling in Maharashtra. On Tuesday, Naxals had set to fire several vehicles belonging to a road construction company in Kurkheda in Gadchiroli. Last year, on April 25th, 37 Naxals were eliminated in Gadchiroli. Since then, it is the biggest attack carried out by the left-wing extremists in this area. Gadchiroli lies in Maharashtra and borders Chhattisgarh. Naxals frequently try to disrupt developmental activities in the region. Despite threats by Naxals boycotting the elections, encouraging voter turnout was recorded at the elections. This is said to be one of the reasons for the frustration among the left-wing extremists. Bureau Report, DD India.
In the BJP camp, Prime Minister Narendra Modi led the party charge in Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, campaigning for the party for the remaining phases of polling. In UP, the PM's focus was on Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas policy of his government at the centre. He also took on the SVBSP and Congress on a range of issues like approach on terrorism, shifting loyalties and poor law and order, to name a few. BJP President Amit Shah campaigned in West Bengal, where he upped the ante on the Mamata Banerjee government, raising issues of corruption, lack of industrial development, political violence, NRC and Citizenship Amendment Bill. Here's more.
With the conclusion of 4 phases of polling, the BJP is now focusing its attention on the seats that are yet to go to polls in Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal, Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed poll rallies in Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan on Wednesday. The PM's first rally of the day.
15 of our colleagues have made the supreme sacrifice, and one private individual who was the driver of a vehicle who also lost his life in the sad incident. It was a dastardly act committed by the Naxalites, and presently operations are going on in the area.
According to Maharashtra police, the attack may have been motivated by the growing desperation among the Naxals and the increasing police action in the region. Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis has expressed grief over the incident.
आज की घटना से भले ही हमें दुख हुआ हो, लेकिन हमारी पुलिस का मनोबल इससे कतई कम नहीं होगा। लोकतंत्र को स्थापित करने के लिए और इस प्रकार की ताकतों को समाप्त करने के लिए हमारी पुलिस इस और ज्यादा ताकत के साथ और बड़े मनोबल के साथ मैदान में उतरेगी।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi in a tweet said, strongly condemned the despicable attack on our security personnel in Gadchiroli, Maharashtra. I salute all the brave personnel. Their sacrifices will never be forgotten. My thoughts and solidarity are with the bereaved families. The perpetrators of such violence will not be spared. Home Minister Rajnath Singh has also condemned the terror attack. In a tweet, he said, attack on Maharashtra police personnel in Gadchiroli is an act of cowardice and desperation. We are extremely proud of the valor of our police personnel. Their supreme sacrifice while serving the nation will not go in vain. My deepest condolences to their families. After the incident, Home Minister spoke with the Chief Minister of Maharashtra and assured him of all the support from the centre. Meanwhile, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley in his message said, Naxal attack on security personnel in Gadchiroli, Maharashtra is a highly condemnable cowardice act. My thoughts are with the families of brave personnel who sacrificed their lives for the nation. Perpetrators of this heinous act will not go unpunished. Earlier, Naxals had attacked a CRPF patrolling team a day before the first phase of polling in Maharashtra. On Tuesday, Naxals had set to fire several vehicles belonging to a road construction company in Kurkhera in Gadchiroli. Last year, on April 25th, 37 Naxals were eliminated in Gadchiroli. Since then, it is the biggest attack carried out by the left-wing extremists in this area. Gadchiroli lies in Maharashtra and borders Chhattisgarh. Naxals frequently try to disrupt developmental activities in the region. Despite threats by Naxals boycotting the elections, encouraging voter turnout was recorded at the elections. This is said to be one of the reasons for the frustration among the left-wing extremists. Bureau Report, DD India.
In the BJP camp, Prime Minister Narendra Modi led the party charge in Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, campaigning for the party for the remaining phases of polling. In UP, the PM's focus was on Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas policy of his government at the centre. He also took on the SVBSP and Congress on a range of issues like approach on terrorism, shifting loyalties and poor law and order, to name a few. BJP President Amit Shah campaigned in West Bengal, where he upped the ante on the Mamata Banerjee government, raising issues of corruption, lack of industrial development, political violence, NRC and Citizenship Amendment Bill. Here's more.
With the conclusion of 4 phases of polling, the BJP is now focusing its attention on the seats that are yet to go to polls in Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal, Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed poll rallies in Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan on Wednesday. The PM's first rally of the day was in Ambedkar Nagar in Uttar Pradesh, where he launched a fierce attack on SP, BSP and the Congress, saying people should see their real faces. In Uttar Pradesh, where he launched a fierce attack on SP, BSP and the Congress, saying people should see their real faces. He accused BSP Supremo Mayawati of exploiting Babasaheb Ambedkar's name while flouting his principles. And in a similar attack on the Samajwadi Party, the PM accused the SP of betraying the ideals of Ram Manohar Mayawati of exploiting Babasaheb Ambedkar's name while flouting his principles. And in a similar attack on the Samajwadi Party, the PM accused the SP of betraying the ideals of Ram Manohar Lohia.
बहन जी ने बाबा साहब के नाम का उपयोग किया, जी ने बाबा साहब के नाम का उपयोग किया, लेकिन उनके आदर्शों के विपरीत हर काम किया। समाजवादी पार्टी ने उनके आदर्शों के विपरीत मिला दिया।
Slamming the Congress, the PM accused it of giving the poor mere slogans instead of working for their welfare and focusing solely on the welfare of one family. In Caution B, the PM outlined the contribution of Uttar Pradesh in the mandate won by the BJP in 2014 and lauded the Kumbh Mela in Prayagraj as historic.
पंडित नेहरू जब आए थे, अव्यवस्था के कारण यहां भगदड़ मच गई थी। कुंभ के मेले में हजारों लोग मारे गए थे, कुचल करके मारे गए थे, लेकिन सरकार की इज्जत बचाने के लिए पंडित नेहरू पर कोई दोष न मर जाए, दाग न लग जाए, इसलिए उस समय के मीडिया ने भी ये चीजें दिखाने की बहादुरी नहीं दिखाई।
In Madhya Pradesh, the PM raised the issue of national security, saying a new India knows how to take revenge for terror attacks, while not sparing the Kamal Nath-led government in his onslaught on the Congress. The PM's final rally of the day was in Rajasthan's capital Jaipur.
इस नए भारत के निर्माण का नेतृत्व आज के नौजवान कर रहे हैं। वो आज नए भारत के निर्माण के लिए इस चौकीदार के साथ पूरी मजबूती से खड़े हैं। इस भावना को सिर्फ अपने ही परिवार और अपने ही वंश को सर्वोपरि मानने वाले समझ ही नहीं पा रहे, इसलिए वे जमीन से कट गए हैं।
BJP President Amit Shah campaigned in East Midnapur and Howrah in West Bengal. Accusing the Mamata Banerjee government of shielding infiltrators, he promised to get the country rid of all interlopers if the Modi government wins a second term in office. Amit Shah also sought the people's support for the BJP to establish democracy in West Bengal.
बंगाल को और देश को दीमक की तरह चाट गए। हमारे देश की सुरक्षा पर बहुत बड़ा खतरा है। मुझे बताओ हुगली वालों, घुसपैठियों को निकालना चाहिए या नहीं निकालना चाहिए? और जोर से बोलो, निकालना चाहिए या नहीं निकालना चाहिए? आप चिंता मत करो, नरेंद्र मोदी सरकार ला दो, बंगाल में 23 सीटें देकर ममता बनर्जी को उखाड़ कर फेंक दो, एक एक घुसपैठिए को मोदी जी चुन चुन कर निकालने का काम एक भारतीय जनता का।
Other BJP leaders are also on the campaign trail. Actor turned politician and BJP MP Hema Manli campaigned in Ranchi and Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath in the state. Close on the heels of a Priyanka Gandhi Vadra media interaction, BJP launched an offensive on the Congress, saying the Congress has admitted to being a vote-cutting party.
अपने आप को भारतवर्ष का सबसे बड़ी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी कहने वाली कांग्रेस पार्टी आज एक वोट कटुआ पार्टी बन के रह गई है। ये हकीकत आज स्वयं कांग्रेस पार्टी की जनरल सेक्रेटरी, राष्ट्रीय महासचिव प्रियंका वाड्रा ने माना है, स्वीकार किया। इस प्रकार का स्टेटमेंट कांग्रेस पार्टी की महासचिव ने दिया है, मिस वाड्रा ने दिया है। एक सवाल उठता है कि ये गठबंधन में है, ये गठबंधन में नहीं है, ये रिश्ता क्या कहलाता है? कम से कम इसका स्पष्टीकरण तो दें।
In the midst of the general elections, political charges and counter charges are flying thick and fast, and the heat and dust on the campaign trail is far from settled, with 3 more phases of polling yet to take place. with Shailendra Mishra, Ashutosh, Deepak Jain, Dharmesh Bharti and Neeraj Singh. Newsnight Desk, DD India.
Congress's campaign picked up steam too. Congress President Rahul Gandhi held rallies at several places in UP, canvassing for votes on the Nyaya scheme and promising employment to youth. Meanwhile, a Congress delegation raised poll-related complaints with the Election Commission.
Rahul Gandhi leading the Congress party's charge for the remaining phases of polling, seeking votes from the people. On Wednesday, he was in Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh. In his first rally in Sitapur, Rahul Gandhi highlighted the Nyaya scheme and claimed that it will benefit the poor and the economy overall. He promised the implementation of the scheme if Congress comes to power. Rahul Gandhi said that revolutionary changes will be made under the scheme, including removal of the prison term for farmers who default on loans.
कहां सोनी फैसिलिटी लगेगी, एमएसपी कितनी बढ़ाई जाएगी, क्या दाम मिलेगा आपको, कितना कॉम्पनसेशन मिलेगा, बीमा में किस प्रकार कितना पैसा मिलेगा, पूरा साल की शुरुआत में हम आपको बता देंगे। दूध का दूध, पानी का पानी हो जाएगा। अब यहां पे न्याय योजना जब शुरू होगी, युवाओं के जेब में पैसा आएगा तो युवा नया बिजनेस चालू करने की सोचेगा।
Later, Rahul sought votes promising jobs for the unemployed youth.
एक नेशनल बजट होगा और नेशनल बजट से पहले, बाद में नहीं पहले, किसानों का अलग बजट पेश किया जाएगा। इसमें हिंदुस्तान के सब किसानों को, होशंगाबाद के किसानों को पहले ही बता दिया जाएगा, इस साल आपको इतनी एमएसपी दी जाएगी, इतने स्टोरेज यूनिट आपके लिए लगाए जाएंगे। होशंगाबाद में इस प्रकार के फूड प्रोसेसिंग यूनिट लगाए जाएंगे, मुआवजा आपको इतना मिलेगा। हिंदुस्तान के किसान को बताने के लिए कि आप हिंदुस्तान की शान हो, आप हिंदुस्तान की शक्ति हो, हम आपके लिए एक बजट तैयार करेंगे।
Meanwhile, in Delhi, a Congress delegation met the Election Commission over an array of issues.
हमने उनको हमारे याचना में लिखित प्रमाण दिया है कि पिछले कई दिनों से, और हमने 8 अप्रैल का स्पष्ट उदाहरण दिया, लेकिन ये दूसरा उदाहरण है। ऐसी चीज़ें बहुत बार हुई होंगी पहले और बाद में, जिसके अंतर्गत पीएमओ, प्रधानमंत्री का ऑफिस, नीति आयोग का प्रयोग, उपयोग और दुरुपयोग करता है।
All in all, Congress is campaigning with full force to ramp up the support for their candidates in the remaining 3 phases of general polls. With Bureau Inputs, Newsnight Desk, DD India.
Campaigning by other parties gained momentum for the remaining phases of polling too. National Conference leader Omar Abdullah campaigned in Pulwama for the 3rd phase of polling in Anantnag in a joint rally in UP. Mayawati and Akhilesh took on the Congress and BJP, and in another key development, the Election Commission rejected the nomination of SP candidate from Varanasi, Tej Bahadur Yadav, over discrepancies in 2 nomination papers filed by him.
With only 3 phases remaining, the political fervour is soaring high. Parties are campaigning with full force to ensure a victory. Regional parties are working round the clock to reach out to voters and ramp up all the support they can. In Uttar Pradesh, Bahujan Samaj Party Supremo Mayawati and Samajwadi Party Chief Akhilesh Yadav addressed a joint rally in Barabanki, where they came down heavily on the Congress and the BJP.
जो ये गठबंधन बना है, ये महापरिवर्तन लाने जा रहा है देश की राजनीति में। यही महागठबंधन सामाजिक न्याय के रास्ते से देश को नई दिशा देने जा रहा है।
कि अंग्रेजों के जाने के बाद केंद्र में और देश के ज्यादातर राज्यों में भी और आपके उत्तर प्रदेश में भी यहाँ कांग्रेस पार्टी ही सत्ता में रही है, लेकिन कांग्रेस पार्टी के लंबे अरसे के शासनकाल में तो ना तो आप लोगों की गरीबी दूर हुई।
In a major blow to the BSP-SP RLD alliance, The Election Commission on Wednesday dismissed the nomination of their candidate Tej Bahadur Yadav. Yadav was supposed to contest from the Varanasi constituency against Prime Minister Modi. His nomination was rejected because the commission found discrepancies in the two nominations filed by him. Yadav, who initially filed a nomination as an independent candidate, mentioned that he was dismissed from the Border Security Force. But later, when he filed the nomination as an SP candidate, he omitted the same information. In his defense, Yadav alleged that his nomination was wrongfully rejected and they will take the matter to the Supreme Court.
5 साल के अंदर में जो भी सरकारी आदमी अगर कोई डिसमिस होता है तो वो डिसमिसल करप्शन और डिसलॉयल्टी टू द स्टेट की वजह से नहीं है या है। इन दोनों ही केसेस में एक सर्टिफिकेट इलेक्शन कमीशन से आता है। हमने मौका भी दिया कल आज 11 बजे तक का डेफर करके, लेकिन 11 बजे तक कोई इस तरीके का सर्टिफिकेट नहीं आया और उसी के अभाव में जो डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ पीपल एक्ट में निर्धारित है उस डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन के आधार पर और जो प्रोविजंस हैं उनके आधार पर एक लॉन्ग स्पीकिंग ऑर्डर पूरा सुनवाई के बाद जो ऑब्जेक्शन आए थे उनकी सुनवाई के बाद सबको समाहित करते हुए जो श्री तेज बहादुर हैं उनका नामांकन निरस्त किया गया।
हमारे से जो एविडेंस मांगे गए थे वो शाम को 6:15 पे मांगे गए थे। हमने कहा कि मैं कोई अडानी अंबानी नहीं हूं जो चार्टर प्लेन लेके दिल्ली चुनाव आयोग में जाऊंगा और एविडेंस लेके आऊंगा, लेकिन फिर भी हमने कोशिश किया और हमारे एविडेंस भी आ गए, उसके बावजूद भी कैंसिल कर दिया। कहा कि नहीं 11 बजे से पहले आपके एविडेंस नहीं आए, तो ये एक तानाशाही तरीके से जो है रिजेक्शन किया।
Political temperatures are soaring high in Bihar as well. RJD leader Tejasvi Yadav said their alliance is working for the weaker sections of the society. LJD chief Sharad Yadav also took on the Nitish Kumar government, saying that the migration rate is the highest in the state due to lack of development.
गरीबों की लड़ाई हम लोग लड़ते रहेंगे और सच हम लोग बोलते रहेंगे। ये गलत फहमी में लोग हैं कि अपने प्रकोष्ठ जो सीबीआई ईडी इनकम टैक्स है हम लोगों को डरा सके।
अभी तो उनसे पूछ रहे हैं मैनिफेस्टो क्या करेंगे, मैनिफेस्टो जारी करेंगे तो बंद जाएंगे, कंट्रडिक्शन हो जाएगा।
Electioneering is in full swing in Jammu and Kashmir, where former Chief Minister and National Conference Chief Omar Abdullah addressed a rally in Pulwama and appealed to the voters to vote for them.
नौजवानों के लिए एक बेहतर मुस्तकबिल बने, यहाँ पे अमन आए, भाईचारा कायम रहे।
In Delhi, Aam Aadmi Party is campaigning to ramp up all the support they can. Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and party candidate from East Delhi, Atishi, held a roadshow in the national capital.
2 दिनों से हमने अपना कैंपेन का तीसरा चरण शुरू किया है। पहले हमने कुछ सभाएं की, बहुत सारी सभाएं की थी। पिछले 1 महीने से बूथ वाइज डोर टू डोर कैंपेन चल रहा था। कल से पदयात्राओं का सिलसिला शुरू हुआ है और अगर आप देखिए, आप खुद ही देख सकते हैं कि इस इलाके के कितने सारे लोग आके जुड़ रहे हैं, हमसे बात कर रहे हैं, खुद कह रहे हैं कि इस बार बटन झाड़ू में ही दबाना है क्योंकि सिर्फ अरविंद केजरीवाल है जो आम लोगों के लिए काम करते हैं।
AAP is contesting from all 7 seats in Delhi. Delhi is set to go for polls on May 12th. News Night Desk, DD India.
And on that note, we come to the close of this edition of News Night. News and updates will continue on DD News and DD India. Stay tuned.